they will be safe. So I want to just welcome everyone to the meeting. I am happy that over 300 parents are in the meeting today, and I hope that this number will continue as we strive to uphold the great name of the St. Mary Technical High School. Mr. Jones?
Good afternoon to all persons on this platform. Allow me to acknowledge our principal, Mr. Orville Richards, Vice Principal, Mrs. Avis Wilson, our Dean of Discipline, other senior members, our academic staff, administrative, and ancillary staff that are on this platform, and our stakeholders in our parents and our students. Good afternoon to you all. Let me extend to you a productive 2022, wishing you all the best. I am aware of the many challenges that we are facing at this time, but a number of us have been clamoring for the reopening of school because in our minds, we felt that the students weren't doing well online, and it would be better if we work out a plan where they can return to face-to-face engagement. The time is now, but we will have to approach it with care and diligence, observing all the health protocols so that at the end, we will be coming out rejoicing or triumphant or victorious, coming out with our health and coming out with a good education. As I have mentioned before, this will not be achieved by being careless and not observing those health protocols. As parents, may I charge you with the responsibility of saying to your child or ward that how important it is to observe those health protocols. And let me be fair with you. I have been observing some of our students, and it is only when they are about to enter the school compound that they are putting on their mask. So they would travel in the taxis or the buses without these masks. They are putting themselves at risk. They are putting you, the parents, at risk. They are putting the school at risk. And therefore, if we want to be triumphant, if we want to be successful, then all hands must be on deck. So I am expecting for you as parents to play your part and to ensure that all the health protocols are observed. I wish for us a productive rest of the school year. You'll be hearing further from me in this meeting. Thank you very much. Back to you, Sir Richards. Thank you very much.
Okay, parents, Mr. Richard's internet is fluctuating. So we will continue. I will share the agenda. So Mr. Richards was to speak at this time. He will come back in short order. So we do apologize for that as we work in the virtual. So Richards, are you back?
This internet is acting up this evening. I'm not understanding why.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right, let me. Yes, when I get kicked off, Mrs. Wilson, you fill in, please. All right, parents, this is really what many persons have been clamoring for. But before we could have done that, we would have to ensure that we have all the things or most things in place, because there are many requirements as it relates to the reopening of school, right? So we have to ensure that we have all the wash stations, believe it or not, we have to install those on the compound. All the sanitization stations. We have to ensure that all the school compound is marked following distancing guidelines. Many things have to be we have to put in place. So what we really want to say to you this evening is that school will be utilizing what we refer to as a blended rotational modality. Blended rotational modality. Meaning that there are some days your child will be at school and there are some days that your child will be at home using the online platform or completing what we refer to as seated worksheets. So you have a responsibility to ensure that when they are not there physically at school and they are home, they are completing all of the work that is assigned. So I do hope you're hearing me now, right? So when they are not at school, you have to ensure that they are doing the assigned work that teachers will give them to take home or will place in the Google Classroom. So with that said, school will be reopening on a phased basis on January the 12th, 2022. I hope that you heard that. School will be reopening on January 12, 2022. That is next week, Wednesday. To school next week, Wednesday. Let me make that very, very clear. All students will not be coming to school next week, Wednesday, right? So we wanted to understand also that that is the proposed date. When I finish this meeting, I have to call back my education officer at the ministry to speak to them, to finalize with them that we can start on January 12th. But for now, that is the date that we, as a school, we intend to reopen our doors on a rotational basis for grades 7 to 10 students. Let me repeat, we have to go back and confirm this date with the Ministry of Education, and then we will send out the correspondence again, just the same way you got the notice for this meeting on Monday, by Monday, to say to you that, yes, we are confirming that we're opening on Wednesday. So we intend to have all students, well, not all, the group of students who will come in on Wednesday so that you know who will come in. Let me make myself clear. Let me explain myself a little better. School will be reopening for everybody. But on any given day, we cannot have everybody at school because we just do not have the space to have everybody at school, because we must be following what is referred to as distancing guidelines. Meaning that when you come back to school, the 40 students that you are accustomed to will not be in a classroom. So we have to split. For example, 7S, only half of 7S will be at school next week, Wednesday. The next half will come Thursday. So let me explain fully now what the blended rotational modality is all about. What we will do is to group the entire school right now, 7 to 10. We will group 7 to 10 in group A and in group B. Your form teachers and your grade supervisor will work out which group you are in. So group A, for example, will come in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And group B will come in Tuesday and Thursday. The following Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and group A will come in Tuesday and Thursday. I hope that you would have understood that. So parents, please do not send your child, when you get the group in, do not send your child to school on the day when they are not supposed to be at school. Send them only on the day that they are scheduled for, right? Because that is what we refer to as the blended rotational approach, meaning that on the days that they will not be at school, we intend to put work in the Google Classroom that they will be able to complete on their own and take it back to the teacher when they have that class again. Right? That person who is TEC, please don't allow me to remove you from the meeting. I don't know what BS means, but I don't know what you're intending, or BS in Jamaica. We know what that means. So please remove that person, please. That person needs to go and learn some manners. And if they come to the school, I'm assuming that's a student. And if they come to the school and behave that way, Mr. Youth is going to speak about it later on. That student will be suspended from school because we're not going to have it, you know. That person needs to know their place. I saw BS. So let me continue with what we are explaining. So remember, group A and group B, Monday, Wednesday, Friday for one group this week, Tuesday, Thursday for the other group this week. Next week, we rotate those two groups so that every student over a 2-week period comes to school, get the 5-day timetable. There is no other way that we can do it right now. We do not have a choice, and that is how we can do it. So basically, I'm hoping that you would have understood what we just explained. Please note that we are working very hard. It's a lot of planning. It's a lot of preparation. Even today, up to nearly 4 o'clock, some of my colleagues are there trying to sort out the timetable to ensure that it is smooth as possible, because it's a lot of pulling, it's a lot of fixing, it's a lot of preparation physically on the compound to get school ready for next week, right? So parents and students, we are looking forward, subjected, let me say it again, because we have to get a final approval from the ministry before, even though they would have announced on the radio and television and in the Glean and everything that school is going to reopen on the 3rd. All schools have to do a lot of things before before the ministry give us the approval, the final approval. So we are really saying to you that this is what we intend to do, and barring no other hiccups, we will or we should be opening for students come next week, Wednesday. At this time, all students, vaccinated or unvaccinated, will be allowed to come to school. At this point, all students, vaccinated or unvaccinated, will be allowed to come to school. All right, so that is the information right there. Please write down your questions. Later on, after all the presentations, we'll be taking all the questions. We'll be answering all questions and as best as possible. So that is really it. I hope that we understood what was explained, and we will be trying our best to reopen school for 7 to 10 safely. Thank you very much. We move along now, and we'll ask Mr. Jones to explain the operations of grade 7. It is a separate campus.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. Campus 2 operations. Despite we are on a different campus, we are St. Mary Technical High School, and the rules of the institution must be adhered to. Your principal is still Mr. Orville Richards. Your acting principal is still Mrs. Avis Wilson, and the other vice principal is yours truly, Orville Jones, who has the special responsibility of Campus 2. I want to use the term that we are self-sufficient or contained on Campus 2. The students will be bused to Campus 2 from the various communities or points. This will be explained to you further in the meeting. The students will disembark the bus on the compound, and they will not be allowed to leave the compound until it is dismissal time. If for any reason they would want to leave compound before that time, a request must be made by the parent or the legal guardian as to what we have on file. It can't be somebody just say, Mr. Jones sent so and so. No, that's not it. We're going to check the files, and it must be someone who is actually on the file requesting for the child to leave school before the time of dismissal. Students are expected to purchase lunches at the canteen or tuck shop. They will not be permitted to leave the compound at this time to purchase lunch or snack anywhere else. Students remain in classrooms, and the teachers will go to them during the exchange. It is not like what happened in most primary schools, where one teacher will be teaching all the subjects. You're going to have a number of teachers coming to you to teach you different subject disciplines. And therefore, because I've seen this, I'm going to ask the parents to give them separate books for the different disciplines. Why? Because I have seen where a child comes to school and take one notebook, and in that one notebook, all the different disciplines are in that book. My teachers used to call that book a name. I won't mention it here, but I want for us to give them separate notebooks for the different subject areas or the different disciplines so that they can take the information in an organized way, and for the teacher from time to time to maybe collect those books and to mark them as well, because teachers will be setting work in those books and work will be done, and teachers will be collecting those books, maybe notebooks, or maybe on what we call folder leaves. You know, work can be presented that way on folder leaves and teachers collect them. It's a different operation from what normally exists there at the primary level. So I want for our parents to be focused on that. Now, based on the health protocols, Campus 2 can house 100 students, meaning that it is only half of the population of grade 7 we can accommodate at any one time. Therefore, what is going to happen in each of the different classes, we're going to have a split down the middle, and your form teachers will inform you of the group that your child will be placed in. For grade 7Y, and I want for you to listen carefully, parents whose children are in 7Y on campus 2, because of the number of students in that class, because of the small amount, and because the teacher of that class normally have them and teach them majority of the disciplines, we are going to ask that they come to school 5 days of the week. And that is for students in 7Y. All the other students will be on that system that Mr. Richards had explained to you, the 3-2 rotation. I am hoping that I am making myself clear. We will be using January 12 and 13 for orientation of the students from the different groups. Again, we are using, I want you to write down these dates, January 12 and 13 for orientation of students from the different groups, whether it is group A or group B, but we're going to have orientation those 2 days. These ensure that you get from your child or ward or form teacher the group that your child is in, so that you are aware of when the child should attend school. It's very important that you get from your child's form teacher that information that is needed as to the group that your child is in, so that you have information as to when your child should attend school. Other information will be given to your child during those 2 days slated for orientation, January 12 and 13. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you very much. I am not hearing Mr. Richards or Mrs. Avis Wilson. Is Mr. Byfield in the meeting?
Yes,
I'm
he is.
right here with you, Sir Jones.
Okay.
Find him.
Sir Byfield? Sir Byfield, you can unmute and go ahead. If he's not able to do so at this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Hewitt to go ahead, and then we come back to Mr. Byfield.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. Again, let me express a good afternoon to all who are on this platform. I trust that as you have listened to what the plan is, that you begin to wrap your minds around it. I want to remind our parents that at the St. Mary Technical High School, from grade 7 through to 13 rather, the expectation is the same. Mr. Jones, our vice principal, hinted at it and mentioned that the standard and the requirements are the same, whether your child or ward is on campus 1 or 2. I will remind you that our mission statement says that we want to be the premier secondary, technical, vocational, educational, and training institution in Jamaica, preparing student candidates to be productive citizens, contributing to social and economic development. This cannot happen if our parents and our students and the members of staff do not follow the prescribed values that we are trying to engender and to make a part of our culture. What do I mean by this? We have identified as an institution some core values: love, respect, accountability, responsibility, excellence, teamwork, and the final one that I will break down, discipline. I want our parents to be reminded that though the notice may seem relatively short, it is just shy of 1 week. I would have at a previous meeting indicated that you were to begin to put the uniform items together because it was trending in the direction that school will reopen for all grades. I want to ensure that our parents recognize that your children must look like students. That means they are to have the proper grooming and attire. We have had to turn away and call up some students who have returned in grades 11 and 13 already. And I will caution the parents of grades 7 and to 10 students. We have no time. I certainly have no time. And I am sure my other colleagues have no time to be walking behind students when we should be using the time to maximize the teaching and learning process. So then, our young men must look like St. Mary Technical students. The year that I've seen some students in Highgate and other places sporting, that will not be accommodated. Today is Thursday. You have 3, 4, 5, 6 days to ensure that your son visits the barbershop and gets the appropriate hairstyle. Failure to present your child with that hairstyle will result with him returning to you forthwith. I want to say to you that we are operating a zero tolerance regime. It means that the crest, epaulet, and the uniform and everything else must be in line according to the code book. Now, I have seen some of the young men with a party style in their pants. I must caution the parents that your child must not leave your house to come to school as if he's going to a party. So the pants them were taken and stitched up, and they barely can move their feet in the way that they should, will not be accommodated. In fact, I will be traveling with a razor blade and a scissors. And if you don't want to buy over the khaki that you're struggling to buy now, ensure that you make your child, your son, uniform appropriately fitted. You are being warned. You are being told. You are being encouraged. For the ladies, our young women, and notice the terms that I use. I don't particularly like the term boys and girls because it speaks to primary level. I like to work with young men and young women, and I want your mind to begin to work in that way. The hairstyles and the length of your uniform, your tunic, must be appropriate. So all those fashionable hairstyles that I've seen students in and around Highgate and the other areas, I am telling you now, get rid of them. braids, sewings, tuck-ins, glue-ins, extensions, clip-on, all of those things. I am warning you from now, they will not be accommodated. I am not certain of the cost of hairstyles these days, but I will tell you that if you don't want to visit your hairdresser, make sure you come with the appropriate hairstyle, because I'll be walking with the scissors to style it for you. I say, remember that the uniforms, the tunic for the girls must be at the knee, not above. You are not party goers. You are students.
Correction, Mr. Hewitt.
Yes, sir.
3 inches below the knee. That's what the handbook states.
Thank you very much, sir. 3 inches below the knee. Thank you very much for that update. 3 inches below the knee. And you may recognize when you get there, Mr. Richards hinted at it, that we will be operating some strict COVID protocols as well. And so we will have a team of persons who will be operating dually. One to monitor and ensure that we are staying in line with the COVID requirements and guidelines, and another team to ensure that the uniform and presentation of self is there. Epaulets and crests have been available over the period, and they will be available at the institution for all grades. We have some for some grades now. You can come and get them, but definitely by Monday of next week, all grades epaulets will be available, and we have crests in abundance. You must also be reminded that for the young ladies, the belts have been upgraded, and so you need to ensure that you have the correct belt. When you had registered your child in August of last year, you were provided with the pattern and the necessary outline of what is expected. And it was instructed to you that you were to begin to prepare from that time. So parents, I am saying again, don't say, I just put them in here, you know, so me now go ready, because you should have been making the preparation. Epaulets, crests, and belt for the females, those you get at the front office at the institution. A crest is for $300, and a pair of epaulet is for $100. Once you are coming to the school, you are required to wear your uniform. On the orientation days as well, that was outlined, you are expected to ensure that your children are wearing the appropriate uniform. So as I close, I say again, ensure that the hair is properly groomed at the appropriate height. For the boys, by now, all should have known what is expected, but let me just skip to my book and tell you. And for the girls, you would be mindful that certain hairstyle that you sport when on Saturdays and in party mode is not accepted. I am skipping through to see if I can find that, because it's not in my mind. No, I believe it is 1 inch for the boys. I'm not finding it yet. I will soon come back to that. But I will also remind you that the shoes to be worn is black shoes and black or brown socks. No sporty fashionable party type of shoes, we expect a nice pair of shoes that allows your child and or children to look like a student. I am not finding the required height here now. I will come back to it when I'm allowed for the next presenter. So, thank you, parents, and please ensure that you subscribe to these requirements, because you will see your child returning to you shortly after they have left if they fail to comply with that requirement. Thank you very much. Over to you, moderator.
Mr. Byfield.
Yes, I'm here, Ms. Wilson. Are you hearing me?
Yes, please. We're hearing you clearly. You may go ahead.
All right. I'm going to speak briefly regarding the transportation for Campus 2. Dundas Store has been a faithful servant of the St. Mary Technical High School for a number of years. And since the inception of Campus 2, I remember clearly when we had a meeting at that point to get the taxis to go around there. Everyone said the road was too bad. They're not going to go around there. And Dundas took up the mantle. And for over eight years, he has been doing an exceptional job. And Mr. Jones can tell you and can testify that regarding transportation to and from Campus 2, it has been excellent. The bus will leave Port Maria to Campus 2, and one will leave Anata Bay to Campus 2 as well. And then they will pick up on the way. The bus leave Port Maria at 6:45 a.m. The bus leave Port Maria at 6:45 a.m. The cost from Port Maria to Campus 2 is $200. The cost from Anata Bay to Campus 2 is $200. The cost from Highgate to Campus 2 is $100. And the cost from Richmond to Campus 2 is $60. So let's go over that one more time. The cost from Port Maria to Campus 2 is $200. The cost from Anata Bay to Campus 2 is $200. The cost from Highgate to Campus 2 is $100. And the cost from Richmond to Campus 2 is $60. As Mr. Jones stated earlier on, he will drop them off in the morning and he will pick them back up in the evening. He has a system where if you want to buy your tickets for the entire week, you can buy your tickets and then you use your ticket on a daily basis. He works on a ticket format. So I know by the first or the second days, he will sort that out. So we seek your cooperation, as we know we're in a very difficult time, but we know with the transportation straight to school, it will make it even more safer for our students and you as well, and us teachers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Byfield.
Mrs. Wilson,
Go ahead,
may I just be permitted 1 more minute? Thank you, because this is very important. The boys' pants, young men, your pants can be straight, but not fitted, and should not be adjusted to less than 3 inches from the body at any point. So those young men who like to wear and appear in what is called pencil foot pants, I am warning you from now that my razor and scissors will be on me at all times to ensure that I operate like a clothing and textile teacher. To adjust. For the young ladies, the hem of your tunics and skirts must not be less than 3 inches below your need. And of course, I am reading from the manual. I want to remind our parents once again to ensure that you conform to these requirements. Thank you, Mrs. Wilson.
You're welcome, Mr. Hewitt. Parents, I will now look at some just health protocols. As you are much aware, we're in a pandemic, and as such, there are certain things which are needed for your child to be allowed on the compound of the St. Mary Technical Institution, be it campus 1 or 2. Every child coming on the institution must wear a mask. Therefore, make sure your child have enough masks to last them for the week or for the days that they will be on campus. So I'm suggesting that they wear one and have another in their bag, just in case the strap sometime burst or it gets wet or damaged somehow. So give them one in their bag and they wear one to school. Also, we ask that you, although we have hand sanitizers at various sections of the institution, it would be good if each child take their own. Also give them a bottle of water and encourage them to stay 6 feet apart. We ask that you just cooperate. They cannot come. Sometimes we see the children come to the gate, no mask. What happened to your mask? They just don't have any. Well, they just can't come on the compound. So each child must come to school wearing a mask. And please give an extra one just in case that one gets damaged along the way. We have mask break. If the child is feeling a little suffocated, for a better word, and wish to step outside and pull down the mask, just ask the teacher, it will be allowed. So please, however, the child cannot be in the class without a mask or without the mask covering their nose and mouth. So some children will say, Miss, I have asthma. Miss, I have breathing problem and I cannot keep on the mask. If that is the case, then we are going to use the online modality for that child. Because when we pull down our mask, we place other persons at risk. And I say to the child, I say to the children at school, if you should go beside someone without a mask, they have the virus, you take it home, you can infect all the persons in your home. So let us be very, very, very careful. Encourage the children to keep on the mask, all right? Please encourage the children to keep on the mask. The next thing is that, yes, so I said it, sanitize, it's SMS, sanitize, wear your mask, stay 6 feet apart. Very, very simple. Sanitize, wear your mask, which covers your nose and your mouth. Stay 6 feet apart. No handkerchief or any other fabric will be allowed for a mask. No handkerchief, right? They can wear their fabric mask, yes. Or the surgical mask, fine. KN95, KN94, N95, not a problem. But no handkerchief, none of that. The next thing, if your child has flu-like symptoms, runny nose, stuffy nose, coughing, sneezing uncontrollably, please do not send your child to school. Keep the child at home and seek medical attention. So once the child has flu-like symptoms, please do not send the child to school. If the teacher has flu-like symptoms, they cannot come to school either. So that's how we have to deal with it, and that's how we deal with it, right? So once the child has flu-like symptoms, do not send the child to school. If we should see such a student, you're going to be asked to foot the bill for transportation, because we just can't send them home, right? We just can't send them home and say, go home. So we'll have to get someone to take them home, because we are responsible for them whenever time they are in, you send them to school. So please, I am saying it again, once your child has flu-like symptoms, we don't have any test kits and no doctors are there to do any COVID-19 tests. Therefore, once a child has flu-like symptoms, whatever it is, we cannot detect, as we are not medical practitioners, to say if it is stuffy nose, asthma, or COVID, they stay at home. Please, I am begging you, because once we detect it, that child will be placed in the isolation room. Yes, we have an isolation room, and asked to stay home. That's where we are at. So thank you for your time, and may we have a smooth, as best as possible, reopening. If the child starts to cough uncontrollably at school, we are going to ask you to come and pick them up. They'll go to the isolation room and you come and pick them up. All right? Because no child, I guess no teacher would want to put themselves in harm's way. And I think you can understand that, right? Because I know that nowadays when people cough nowadays, everybody looking. I'm not talking a one-off cough. I'm talking continuously coughing or stuffy nose, all right? So thank you for your time. Mr. Richards, Mr. Richards?
I am here.
Yes, sir. Over to you. Miss Carey is not in. She had some other business at this time, sir, that she could not delay. So sorry.
All right, it's not an issue. Mrs. Wilson. Give me a second. Let me sort out myself here. All right. So let me hope I don't chip out again. I'll get kicked off. All right, parents. Let me state that outside of the Campus 2 bus program, the rural bus program will also be in effect, but this will only apply for students on path, and it is not for every part student. So it's very important that you understand that the school can only select 60 students for this rural bus program, 60 students who are on path, and it's 60 students from grade 7 through to grade 13.
Right, Mr. Richards went out. Mr. Byfield.
I can speak on that.
Yes, please.
All right. So what we do, we try to see how best we can look in our population to see who are our most needy path students. As Mr. Richards said, is 60 students from grade 7 to 13. What happened from the end of the program at grade 7, you go right up to, if you go up to grade 13, or if you stop at 5th form, you go up with you. So what happened, what would have done over the past 2 years, it is to add those who have graduated over those 2 years. So we're going to add some. So we can add 61st students because there were students who were on it before. As Sir said, we're working to finalize the list by sometime this week this week. So it will come into effect when school begin. So the students can look out for that, and we will either give them a call or we'll give them a text to notify the students who are on that PATH program. And remember, it is for PATH student, not every student, and not all PATH students. Don't say, yes, I'm on PATH, so I'm supposed to travel on the bus free. It do not work like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Byfield. I keep getting booted out. Yes, very important. That program is separate and apart from the Campus 2 bus program. It is different from the Campus 2 bus program. The rural bus program goes to both campuses, but you know that if we only have 60 spaces and we have 7 grade levels, you know that more than likely is about 10 students from Campus 2 from grade 7 will go on that. We try to make an assessment of the situation, as Mr. Byfield said, to add those students who, I don't know, I don't want to really go down into that, but we do try to select as best as possible the students who really, really need to be on that program, right? Additionally, in our rollout next week, Wednesday, we intend to activate, we will be activating the nutritional subsidy program. So all the students on PATH now, every single student on PATH will benefit from this. That is where, of course, you go, once you're on PATH, there's a system, you know, you go and you get your ticket to get your lunch. You know that normally, I believe that is tied with well, I'm sure that Mr. Byfield, all IDs are, students have all their IDs and all of that. No, they can collect them. I know that they have been distributed. They are.
It seems as if Sir get cut off again. So for those who took their grade 7 and 8 IDs, they're available at the front office. For those who do not have their IDs, I know that in the coming weeks, Sir will make the arrangement so that the individual will come in and take those IDs as quickly as soon as possible. Sir, you're back in?
No, it's not back in, Mr. Byfield.
Yeah, and there has been ID that has been at the school, I think, for over 3 years now, 2 years at the front office. So if you don't have the ID and you did take your picture, go by the front office to see if your ID is there. But I know for those who took, when we had orientation last September, that your IDs are at the front office, so you can go by there. For the grade 7, what we will do, we'll bring your own round to Campus 2 so you can collect it around there. So you don't have to come round to Campus 1 to collect your ID. We will make the arrangement for them to be taken to Campus 2 so that you can get them.
Yes, so
All right, good.
So please ensure, parents, that you, I'm actually on my phone now, please ensure that you do make use of the PATH subsidy for nutritional benefits, and the students should collect their lunches at the tuck shop, at the canteen, sorry. So please ensure you make use of that. All right, with that said, please do not, we remember you would have to verify that PATH information for us to know that you are on PATH. We were sent a list by the Ministry of Social Security. So you have to ensure that you are on that list. So verify that information to ensure that you're on that list to benefit from these situation.
And Mr. Richard.
All right, so what we are going to do now. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Byfield.
One more thing regarding PATH.
Go ahead, sir.
If you are new to the school and you have not transferred your part beneficiary from the school that you're coming from, you need to go down to Port Maria by the NIS and do that, because it will not automatically transfer because you're coming to seminary technical. You have to go down there and make the arrangement with them, and then that take a little time as well. It do not happen right away, sir.
Well noted, Mr. Byfield. Well noted. All right, at this time, parents, because we intend to wrap up very soon, at this time, we intend to give you an opportunity to ask your questions. Some of the questions I'm seeing being asked is about information that we have already presented. So I don't know if those persons would have logged on late, but you can use your raise hand feature. The chat is a bit crowded, so it's sort of difficult for us to go through all of those questions in the chat. So we will ask you to raise your hands, and please keep your questions to the point, right? And so we can move forward. The color of the shoe that should be worn is black. The color of the shoe that should be worn is black. So in order, Mrs. Wilson, please assist me. So when I get kicked off, you are one of the devices get kicked off, you are in charge. I see a lot of hands now. Colleen, you were the first hand. I'm asking you to unmute. Please unmute and go ahead. Colleen, please unmute and go ahead.
All right, we are not hearing from Miss Colleen, and so I'm going to unmute someone else in the order that I have on the screen here. Mr. Ricardo Douglas, please unmute and ask your question.
Good night, everyone. I was just asking, is it possible the school will open on Monday where I can come on Monday and purchase the crest, the epaulet, and pick up the ID for my daughter?
Yes, sir. We will be open.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. All right. We have next person in line, Galaxy J7 Prime. Please unmute and go ahead.
Good evening. Due to the in the time when they were talking about the transportation, I get cut off, so I'd like to know more about that. I didn't get to hear about that because I was disconnected. So I'd like to know. My child is not on part, so I'd like to know about the bus system.
All right, not a problem, Miss. Mr. Byfield.
Here. So as I said earlier on, for grade 7, the bus will leave Port Maria at 6:45, and the cost from Port Maria to Campus 2 is $200. And the bus will leave Anata Bay at 7 a.m. and the cost from Anata Bay to Campus 2 is $200. If we time that from Port Maria to Highgate, it's about 30 minutes, 25 minutes, 7:15, 7:20, the bus is supposed to be in Highgate. The one coming from Anata Bay will be in Highgate. From Highgate to Campus 2 is $100, and from Richmond to Campus 2 is $60. As Sir said, for those who will be selected to be on the path bus, then what happened, it is the bus will leave actually the same time in Port Maria and also in Anata Bay.
Okay, so there will be
answer your question.
for the students that are not on, different from the students that are on path?
Yes, please.
That's
Not
what I
all
want
the
to.
students, yes, not all students on path though will be on the bus provided by path. Those students will be hand selected and made available. It will be made known. The bus in Port Maria parks at Hilo, not Hilo,
Okay.
Giant, where Giant is.
Giant, okay.
Right, so you will see 2 coasters there in the morning. And
Okay, I
the bus-
specifically wanted to know about the student, not on path, because my daughter is not on path. So I just wanted to make sure that she, use the bus system.
Not a problem. All right.
Okay.
And in
Thank
it's at the taxi stand area there where the buses park. In Highgate, we have 2 areas. So this child can stand at St. Mary High or right in the town where the Richmond buses, where the Richmond taxis park. All right, let me just summarize something because I see a million hands up. So thank you, Miss.
Yeah, in the evening after school, the bus will be at the school compound to pick them up.
Bus will be at the school compound and no grade 7 student will be allowed to leave the compound and not go on a bus without permission from their parents. So they can't go through the gate. So they have to go on a bus.
Okay, thank you very much.
Right, so they are the only students there and we make sure that they are go on one of the buses parked on the compound. They can't say they want to go down to Richmond because we don't have that facility for them. We know they are young and we know the parents are worried. So we try our best to make them safe. So they must go on the bus. So you can look out for the bus and wait for them if you wish to, but they must go on the bus.
Okay.
Mr. Richards, over back to you.
Let me make some general announcement because I see a lot of persons asking the same questions. Obviously, they would have missed it. School is opening on January 12th, Wednesday, January 12th. You will be informed in short order by Monday which group of students should be at school on Wednesday in group A and which group of students will be at school on Thursday in group B. So please, parents, January. So if you have your hand up about when school is opening, that is the information. Campus One bus system.
You come campus to about 2 hour 1 term or something.
I feel.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Please understand that Campus 2 is a bit remote. There's no formal taxi or bus system for Campus 2, but Campus 1 is more in a location that is accessible by regular transportation, meaning that regular taxis, if they choose to take a taxi from Highgate to go to Campus 1, that is fine. That arrangement is in place. Or if they choose to take a regular bus to campus 1 or come to Richmond and walk to Campus 1, that is something that they can do. School begins at 8. We encourage all students to be on time and punctual for school because you're marked late and it goes on your report, which is very important. Good. In terms of parents coming to orientation, no, we will not have that facility to hold the number of persons who would want to come. Remember that we have to minimize the number of persons on the compound as much as possible. That's the reason why we're splitting the school population. So parents are not
Right, Mr. Richards went out. So parents, please do not come to school with your child Wednesday or Thursday. Next thing. So just summarizing, it's blended rotational approach where the child comes to school 2 days in a particular week and 3 days in the next week. By Monday, you will receive a list of which group your child is in, and then you will know which days they should come to school. All right. So there will be no online classes, no live streaming of online class. So if the student should come to school Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they should be there. And the following week, they will be there Tuesday and Thursday. So it's blended rotational classes. Unless the government changes their position and send us back online. But for now, because of our unique situation at St. Mary Technical High School, the teachers will be on the compound for face-to-face classes. Therefore, they cannot at this time facilitate online classes at the same time, right? So we can't facilitate that at this time. So we will do that. The next thing is that, so we start at 8 for those who are not aware. We finish at 2:30, except on a Wednesday, when we finish at 2. Campus 1 is the main campus. Campus 1 is the main campus in Richmond. Campus 2, Campus 1 main campus, that's where grades 8 to 13 are housed. And Campus 2 is in Elliott. That's where grade 7 is, all right, for clarity, for those who may not be aware. We will use the timetable that they have been using online for grades 7 to 10. Grades 11 to 13, they will continue to use the timetable that they have been using, right, for face-to-face, all right? At this time, we cannot facilitate the exchange of epaulets. We cannot facilitate that at this time. Mr. Richards, you're back, go ahead.
Yes, so let us take Victoria Coleman. Please unmute and go ahead.
Okay, good evening, sir. In regards to the school ID, my son is in grade 9 and he lost his ID in grade 7. I paid for it, but the day that I got to come to the school for him to do the pictures, he had a cold, so I couldn't take him. And I was told that there wasn't any other day available. So I'm asking, is it possible for him to do his picture while school resume so that he can get his ID? Thanks.
Sir, you want me to go or are you going to take that one?
Wait, Sebastian.
As I said earlier on, when Sir got cut off regarding the IDs, that what happened, since we're going back face-to-face, we will arrange a date as quickly as possible for those students who did not or don't have an ID to take back one. So shortly, a date will be given when he or she will take their identification card.
All right, thank you, Mr. Byfield. Next in line for question. Let me just try to unmute you. Just a second here. Give me a second here. Miss Sasha Hyde, please unmute and go ahead. Miss Hyde.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm living very far and my son hasn't has his crest as yet. So I'm wondering if he could come to orientation and bought it. Is that possible?
Yes, not a problem. If the child don't have crest or epaulet, they can come to school and purchase it when they are assigned on the particular day.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss.
You're welcome. Let's move ahead to Miss Dakers. Go ahead, Miss Dakers.
Good evening, everyone. I have heard mention about the school shoes, but I want to find out if they can wear if they can wear sneakers, because they made only mention of only shoes.
Well, answer, Mrs. Wilson.
If it's plain black sneakers, not a problem, miss.
Okay then, thank you very much.
You're welcome. We move quickly along. Miss Shani Morgan. Miss Morgan, you can go ahead. All right,
Good
I'm not
evening.
here. Okay, go ahead, miss.
Okay, so all right, so earlier they spoke about something about 7Y coming every day. I am not sure if I heard properly. So could the person just go back over that part in terms of 7Y?
Yes, 7Y should attend school every day, Monday to Friday.
Okay, and one more thing, in terms of the students on par for the transportation, it was said that persons will be selected.
Them we arrange.
Miss Coleman, yes. Go ahead, Miss Morgan.
Yes, it was said that persons would be selected. So what I want to know, hearing that persons would be selected, that means it's not everyone that is on part would get the transportation. And what will be the in terms of the criteria in selecting those persons?
Need, miss.
I didn't hear
So
that.
we have need. It's on a needs basis.
Okay.
So we have students who are already on the program and they're still on the program. It's 60 for the entire school. We have nearly 600 students on path at St. Mary Technical, 60 on that program. We have quite a few on the bus program already. So we only have space for a few more. And those that we have space for, they will be notified.
Okay.
All right, so is that it, Miss Morgan?
Yes, that is it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, we have Danielle. Go ahead.
Yes, miss. I was wondering if the orientation is for grade 7.
No, sir.
So the orientation is going to keep at the first campus, right, miss?
For grade 7 at the campus 2, yes. And for the other grades on campus 1.
Okay, miss. So for 8 up is for first campus.
Yes, please. We are at Mr. Dujon Henry. Dujon Henry, you may go ahead at this time and unmute. Dujon Henry? Yes, go ahead, please. Thank you much.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can I come and pick up the crest and the ID Monday?
Sure, you can.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Sabrine Thomas. Sabrine Thomas, you can unmute and go ahead.
I already have my question answered already from one of the parents' questions.
All right, thank you much. We are the next, Galaxy Note 9. Galaxy Note 9, you may go ahead. Galaxy Note 9, going once, going twice, moving on. Galaxy A.
Good evening, sorry, the phone did jump off.
Okay, all right, not a problem.
I'm wondering about the hairstyle because my daughter ear is damaged and I have to cut it short. And I don't know if it's gonna cause a problem.
Once there's no braid in it, not a problem.
Okay, thanks.
So once there's no braid, No, not a problem. If the hair is short or long, we don't have a problem with that. No braids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miss
You're welcome.
Avis,
Yes, please.
please remind her that she can shave the side. You have to cut on one length. So they
Yes.
can shave the side like the boys.
Okay, thanks for that.
No, this side is not shaved.
Okay. All right, so we are moving on.
I come with the bouquet.
Pardon me?
Sorry, miss.
All right, so you can mute. All right, Galaxy A10E. You may unmute. Galaxy A10E. Go ahead with your question. Galaxy A10E.
Good evening. My name is Garrett Watson. I'm trying to find, my student is a new student. So I don't have any ID. How much for the ID, please, and the crest and the epaulette?
Okay, Mr. Byfield, how much for the ID? Please answer.
You will going into grade 8.
I think it's $600. I stand corrected, but I think it's $600 they pay at the Bursa office.
For the ID?
Yes.
How much for the crest and the epaulette, please?
Crest is $300. $300 and epaulette $100.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Serena, I'm going to ask that you just tone down with the amount of messages so that if somebody wants to ask something in the chat, they can do so. Serena Taylor, you have a lot of chat going on. Might be a parent, as you're a student. I'm going to ask if a parent may want to ask something in the chat. They just tone down with the amount of messages as they do not relate to the reopening at this time. If it is related to reopening, not a problem. However, I'm going to ask that you just tone down with the amount of chat being posted so that the parents can ask the questions and we answer appropriately. Thank you very much. We are now at, let me get back to the list in the order that it's there. Sabrina Thomas. I wonder if I skip over somebody. Sabrina Thomas went. We're at black. So if you asked your question already, you could just lower your hand for me so that my list gets shorter. Thanks. Just lower your hand. All right, thanks. So we are at Deshaun Black. Please unmute and go ahead.
Miss, I'm asking about what about grade 10?
What about them? What you want to know? Black, come and ask me something specific. Go again, Black. What you want to know about grade 10? Come on, Black, ask your question now. Yes, grade 10 is on the rotational basis, 7 to 10, 3, 2, 3 this week, 3 days 1 week, 3 days the next week, all right? I'm not sure if that's what you want, but you don't want to tell me specifically what you wish to ask. All right, where are we? We are at Dakers. Miss Karen Dakers.
I had actually asked my question already.
Okay. Thank you. You can lower your hand, please. Okay. Denise, Mrs. Denise Mackenzie Smith. Please go ahead and ask your question. All right, remember I said the timetable is what they are using online now. The timetable is what they're using online now, right? So if they are coming to school Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, look on the timetable, which subjects they have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and accordingly. And if they are coming to school the next week, Tuesday, And Thursday, use the timetable and look which subjects they have Tuesday and Thursday. That's the timetable we are using, the one they are using right now for grade 7 to 10. All right, so we are at Myers. Myers, you may go ahead. Going once, I'm not hearing from Myers. Going once, going twice. Myers, are you still interested in asking a question? All right, we're moving to Galaxy, Samsung Galaxy. Oh, go ahead,
Yes,
Mr.
person.
Not hearing you, Mr. Richard.
It is
Go
something
ahead.
that. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, please, sir.
Yes, I was mentioning that all students must be insured. It is critical. So if you would have done the registration and you did not insure your child, as a matter of fact, if you did not register the child, because there are many students who are not registered, please ensure that you come in and register the child. And you must, if the child is not on path, you pay to insure the child. Registration does not involve, it's not a must that you have to pay money. We do ask for the parent contribution, but the child must be insured. It is not a school insurance only. It is a 24/7 insurance, meaning that they are insured at if not home. So please insure the child. It's about $600, I stand corrected, but get the child insured. If you are coming to register and not paying any money at all, pay for the insurance. Please. All right, thank you. Another parent was asking Mrs. Wilson about if the uniform is short. We are not making any exception where the uniform is concerned. Please ensure that the uniform meets the requirements of the school. So that parent, please, you can have your dressmaker adjust that tunic, or if you know somebody who is short, you can sell that uniform to that person, but we will be strictly abiding by the rules of the school. Thank you.
All right, we're moving along. So at Samsung Galaxy S10.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm just trying to find out. I have an issue from grade 7, and I was trying to rectify the problem. My son is now in grade 10, and there's an error on his ID. I asked him to check it out, and then nothing did about it. And I text in the WhatsApp group, and I don't hear anything. So I just want to find out, because you know that the same ID will be using in grade 11 when in grade 6. So I want to find out how can it change to his name.
All right, just ask your child to bring the ID to Mr. Byfield, and we'll rectify the situation. So Mr. Byfield, guidance counselor. So when he comes in face-to-face, when your child comes in face-to-face, please ask your child to go to Mr. Byfield with the ID, and we will change.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we are at Mika Robbins Box. Mrs. Box, please go ahead.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Evening, Mrs. Wilson. I'm not sure if this was answered, but I want to find out if lunch will be served next week. And I mean, going forward.
Yes, please.
And thank you. I also wanted to make a comment, just to remind us, all of us parents, students, I have noticed that persons who are fully vaccinated or persons who have already caught COVID, sometimes they have the impression that they can't catch it again. And I just want to remind us that it is possible. Also, the fact that they may be fully vaccinated, and let's say, for instance, a child goes to school and comes in contact with somebody else who has COVID. And whilst it may not they may not get sick again. They may take home the virus, and then somebody at home ends up being sick. So I just kind of wanted to bring that to the fore, so people can remember that whether or not you have been vaccinated or you have had COVID, it is still possible to catch a virus or to pass it on to someone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Box. We're going to ask the students who are creating a storm in the chat to desist, as this is specifically a parent consultation session. And we did say uniforms are required. If you're in the chat as a student and you are creating a storm with the chatter, please desist from doing so and let the parents ask the pertinent questions. I would appreciate that. All right, so we are going down to Rojan Thompson. Please go ahead, Rojan Thompson. Going once.
Good night.
Oh, go ahead.
I would like to know when does grade 8S comes in?
On Monday, we will provide a schedule of all the classes, groups A and B, and the dates that they should attend school.
Okay, then thank you. That's it.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Miss Nisi and
hello?
ahead. Yes.
Yes, grade 9. When does grade 9 comes in? Because I have a cousin that should be in grade 9.
Applies for all the grades. Grades 7 to 10, we will provide a schedule on Monday.
So there will be another meeting on Monday then?
No, there are other ways that we communicate. So we will communicate via the form classes.
Okay, then thank you.
You're welcome, Miss.
Okay.
Nisi and Grant.
Good afternoon, Miss.
Good day.
For the student that didn't get a chance to take their ID pictures yet, when could they come in to take the pictures?
When they come to school, a time will be designated for them to take it.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Tafari Henry. Tafari Henry. Going once. Tafari Henry. Going twice.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to know, I would like to know, in regards to the textbooks, could the teacher indicate to us when when the student is going to need the textbook? Because I have bought textbooks before and my child have not used them. And I really don't want to waste any money buying the textbook and he doesn't use it. So I would appreciate it if when the teacher is going to use the textbook, if they just indicate and I will get that textbook for my child. Hello?
Yes, please. We were listening.
Yes, that is the statement.
All right. So yes, that could be arranged, but please remember too that when we buy textbooks as parents, we do not wait alone until the teacher is using it. We use the textbook even before class start so that we can read ahead.
I know that, but remember.
Yeah, but as I said, we are going to accommodate that also. We're going to ask the teachers to make the parents aware when they are going to use it. But we have one drawback though. They may start using it the following week and the child may not have it.
Well, from my son tell me same one, the textbook may have to go find.
Not a problem.
All right, thanks.
Yes. Yannick Watson. So if you have asked your question already, please lower your hand so our list can get shorter.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm asking a question. What time is the grade 10 to orientation?
Parents, we will be sending out a schedule. School begins at 8. So all students, once you're scheduled for that day, you come to school for 8 o'clock. Once you're scheduled for that day, which we will send out, the student attend school for 8 o'clock. The only time they are not supposed to come to school are the days that they are not scheduled. So it doesn't really matter when is orientation or anything like that. So if your child is on the schedule for next week, Wednesday, they should be there. If they are not scheduled for Wednesday, they should not be there. We will send that to you on Monday.
Raquel Gordon, please go ahead and unmute. Raquel Gordon, you may go ahead and unmute. Raquel Gordon going twice. Raquel Gordon gone. Kimani Parkins. Kimani Parkins.
Good evening, Miss.
Good evening, sir.
Miss, I have 2 points actually. Miss, when we come in on Wednesday, should we be prepared for the classes that we have on that day, Miss?
Yes, please. So
Okay.
part of the day is orientation. The next part of it.
Miss, and my second point is, Miss, why was guidance and counseling dropped from all the timetables, Miss?
Because you have 16 subjects doing already. We have no space there for 17.
Oh, Miss, but I just thought it would be more important now, Miss, than ever to have guidance
Yes,
and
but we have a session, we have psychosocial support in the timetable, and you will see it when you come to school. We have a section for psychosocial support in our schedule at school, and you will be informed accordingly.
Okay, Miss, thank you.
All right, Miss Avis.
Yes,
Miss
sir.
Avis.
Yes,
And if
sir.
any student need individual support as well, they can just let it known to us and we'll reach out to them as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I am at Marlon Lee.
Yes,
Marlon.
Miss. Are you hearing me?
Yes, loud and clear. You may go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
What I'd like to know for next week, Monday and Tuesday, there will be online classes because I fell asleep part of the session.
There will
Okay,
be online classes Monday and Tuesday. We start face-to-face on the blended rotational approach Wednesday.
okay. And for the blended rotational approach, there will be added homework because to me,
yes, there will be added homework.
Okay, thank you very much. That's my question.
Kendra Peart. Kendra Peart.
Good evening, Mrs. Everyone.
Good evening.
Miss, will we be required to bring our devices to school?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Tanisha Douglas. Unless you are asked by a specific teacher to bring your device. However, we ask that you keep your laptops at home as much as possible, as we cannot secure all of them. We cannot secure them. Go ahead, Miss Douglas.
Miss.
Wait there. Wait there, Black. Wait, Black. We're going in order. We're at Douglas. We're at Douglas, then Black.
Good evening. My concern is the rental books. When the rental books will be available? Because one term is already finished and my son didn't get it as that.
Your son did not get any book at all?
No, and the teachers are going to use the books next week.
Yes,
And
we have had many days that the students were invited from July
Parents.
until November to collect books. However, come Black, mute your mic, Black, mute your mic, Black. Yes. However, we have a slight shortage of some textbooks. You were saying something, Mr. Richards. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that we have done that many times.
We have sent out schedule, Miss Douglas, over and over, and many students.
But I didn't get that schedule about the rental books or which day to come in for them or anything.
All right, so what we can do when it's face-to-face, we will put out another schedule. Or when it's face-to-face, we will put out another schedule for those who did not collect any books, okay?
Okay, and then second question. When they are not in school on the days that they're not supposed to be face-to-face, what is it going to be online, or they're just going to be out of school until the next day or when the time come around again for school?
Richards?
Miss Black.
No, that's Douglas.
Douglas, while we intend to serve, we have to bear in mind that resources are limited, so the teachers can't be two places at the same time. So that's the reason why the gentleman before would have asked about added homework. So the onus is on parents. Let me make that very clear. The onus on parents is to ensure that the students do the seated work, go into the classroom to do the work that the teachers may post in the classroom, because those are not going to be done away. But the teachers will not be online to teach the students using live classes like you are accustomed to know. They will be at school working.
Okay.
Right, Black, you may go ahead. Deshaun Black, it's your time now.
I'm asking if all of us should come on Wednesday.
Black, you are not listening, you know. All right, let's say it one more time. On Monday, a schedule will be disseminated in all the form classes of when each group A or B should come to school. On a Monday, there will be a schedule that will be distributed in all the form classes of when each group, be it group A or B, should start attending face-to-face. So some persons will come on Wednesday. So it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday for one group at a time. And then the other group will come Tuesday and Friday. And we will rotate the following week. So if you come to school Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week, next week you will only come Tuesday and Thursday. Why is this so? We do not have the space based on the COVID-19 regulations for all students of a particular class to be in at the same time. Therefore, half of the class will come at a particular time and the other half another time. We are rotating the class, and that is why we can't be online, because the teacher will be at school all day, Monday to Friday, teaching group A or group B. I hope we provided some clarity there. All right, we are at Dion's Galaxy. Dion's Galaxy A10s, you may go ahead. And then the last hand there is Del Marie.
All right, good night, everyone. I actually came in late on this PTA meeting. I would like to find out about the list. Who will the list be sent to? So that the students will know which days they are gonna come in. Yes, that's my question. Is it that the student will be, hello?
No, miss, we're
Are you
listening.
hearing me? Okay.
Yes, we're hearing, we're listening.
Is it that you guys will be sending the list to the student, or is it that the parents will get the list? I'm not sure.
We will be placing the list in the Google Classroom, the form room. Group A and B list will be placed in the Google Classroom, the form class. Okay?
Okay, not a problem.
Mrs. Wilson, we can even go as far as sending the list in the PTA groups. You don't have a challenge there, Anna.
I am not a part of the PTA group. Sorry to say that. I was a part of it at one time, but there were too many chattering going on in the group and it was just pulling up my phone, so I deleted myself. So I am not a part of that group. But in the classroom, it's fine for me. The classroom is fine for me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right.
We have Del Marie. You may go ahead, Del Marie. It is now 12 minutes after 7. We will be finishing in the next 10 minutes. I'm not hearing Del Marie. Imani Dora. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. We're hearing you now, Del Marie.
Calling behalf of Garrett. Yes, is in grade 11. I heard that he doing the building and we parents have to buy the material. Why we have to buy the material?
Because your child is sitting the SBA, your child is making the SBA and they will take it home. So when the child makes a bedside table and you buy the material, just like food and nutrition, if they buy chicken and they prepare it, they take it home or they eat it. So when your child, you buy the material for building, they will take it home. If we should purchase it, when we calculated it, miss, to purchase for every child in that class, it would run into millions. So we will allow them after to take home whatever they make. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
Let me interject, Mrs. Wilson, because the material that is to be bought is maybe about 5 feet of board, which is roughly about $1,500 because the school will be buying every other thing to do the SBA. So I believe that is a partnership, and that is something that parents can sacrifice for the students to be successful in their academics. We are making that appeal to parents for the students who are rebuilding to provide them with the $1,500 to buy the wood or the board, as you put it, to make whatever project they are making. We as a school, we are spending wholly more so that they can have all the other things to complete the SBA successfully. So we do crave your indulgence there.
It's Lakeisha Small Jackson. You may unmute and go ahead.
Good night, everyone. Just trying to find out for the orientation for next week. My daughter is a new student, and I'd just like to know if the bus will be at the destination in Port Maya, where they can travel on.
Yes, please. The bus will be there 6:45 because we begin at 8. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, sir. Galaxy tab A. So we have 5 more minutes before the meeting closes. Galaxy tab A.
Good evening, Miss. Good evening, Mr. Richards. For the lunch, what is the cost for the lunch? And my son is a grade 8 student. He hasn't been to the main campus. Or will he know where to find ATM? Will someone be there to show them? That's my question.
All right, yes, and that's why we're having orientation. So they will be guided accordingly. We will be there, teachers will be there, their form teachers will be there, and we will assist any student who have a difficulty in finding a room. All right. The cost of the lunch, Sir Richards, I'm not sure if it increase or decrease.
It wouldn't, Mrs. Wilson, it would be a decrease. We will send out that information on Monday once it is finalized, because you know that it's a long time since school has not been held like this, but we will communicate that to parents in advance. So please bear with us. We will send that out in a letter to you.
All right, the last two, we have a Chinese writing or Japanese, or I'm not sure. There's no one. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Miss. I'm asking how much for the epaulets and the crest.
Crest, $300. A pair of epaulets, $100. Sherry Ann Johnson, you may go ahead.
Good evening, Miss. What time will the bus be leaving?
The bus leaves at 6:45 in Port Maria and 7 o'clock in Anotta Bay. Miranda Campbell, that's the last hand there. Miranda Campbell. Miss Miranda Campbell, you may go ahead. Miranda Campbell.
Good evening.
Good
Hello.
evening. Yes, we're here.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. I have just several questions. One, do parents have access to Google Classroom to track your students' progress?
Yes, the parents have access. Just ask your child for their email address and password. You can go in and track your child's progress.
Okay.
And as a point of note, it can be placed on multiple devices.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I am saying that on the Google Classroom, it can be placed on multiple devices.
Okay, all right, thank you. And I'm asking these questions for someone, so I apologize. Vaccination is not required. Will masks be required during sporting events?
For sporting events, what sporting events are you talking about? The internal ones or for ISA run competitive sport? Is that for the ones that they represent the school, which you please clarify?
I'm going to ask for both. So football and then the physical education. Will physical education still be played?
We are still deciding. We're still deciding what format PE will take. So you have to bear with us because we know the risks that are there in terms of that.
Yes, sir.
Right there. But I can say to you, for ISA run competitions, the school is currently in training for cricket and for track and field, and all of those persons who are going to represent the school must be vaccinated.
Okay. All right, and the final is, will there be any new fees?
No, there are no new fees apart from government. Government really subsidizes school fees, so students don't pay school fees, right? Whether pass or non-pass students. What we do ask when students are registering is that the parent make a contribution, which is a minimal cost.
Yes, sir.
If the students are not on pass, we do encourage the parents have to pay for the insurance of the child. Pass students are covered by the government, but students who are not on pass, they have to pay the insurance, at least the insurance. But we do ask all parents, whether pass or non-pass, to make a parent contribution, which basically, when you add up everything, the maximum amount is about $5,000 something.
All right. Thank you so much for the information and for having the meeting as well.
You're most welcome.
Sir Richards, one thing we did not say is report collection.
Go ahead.
Yes, so parents who are here, report your child's report will be available between January 26th to 28th. This will be, you will collect it at the school during the stipulated hours. So grade 7. So remember, they just completed end of term examination and one term has concluded. So we will provide a report, an academic progress report for such time period. So grade 7 will collect their report on the 26th of January. Those with surnames A to M will come 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. as shown on the screen. And those with surname N to Z, 12 to 2. On January 27, grades 8 and 10 will collect their reports. And January 28, grades 9 and 11. We will post this notice in the parent group closer to the time, but we want to give you time for those who may be working and may need to ask for time to pick up your child's report. These are the dates that we are looking at. So January 26th to 28. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Wilson. And parent, notice that it says collection of reports by parents, not by students. We will not be distributing reports to students because that is not the way that we operate. So you are required to come and collect it. Based on what is happening now with the pandemic, we are unable to say, we're unable to have really what we refer to as report week with the regular consultations and speaking with the parents. But feel free, I know you have the relationship with the teachers. I know a lot of parents have relationship with teachers where you speak with them. We have the WhatsApp groups. Parents have WhatsApp that they text the teachers, so please keep in touch to find out what is happening. Parents, we have to operate as safely as possible and we crave your indulgence. Please let us work as a team together to reopen school successfully because it is critical. It is critical that we cooperate and all of us play our part in terms of our part so that we can really advance the business of education and your child can be successful in everything that we offer them. You have a role to play in terms of monitoring, supervision, and ensuring that the children do the work on the days that they are not going to be in. That is your responsibility, right? And so that when they come back to us, they are able to present to the teachers any form of assessment that they would have been given to take home. Please ensure that you tell them that when they come to school and see their friends that they have not seen for a very long time, they do not run up to them and hug them up because gatherings are not allowed. Please understand that also if they are not following the rules and repeatedly they break the rules, we are going to really send them home to you for them to use the online platform where the teachers are going to post work asynchronously, right? We need everyone's cooperation. This is a serious time in which we are operating in, and we need your support. Do not just send them back to us without paying attention to what is happening. Mrs. Wilson said it earlier, but I am
Sir, we're not hearing you. We're not hearing you. Sorry, Chance. Go again. Unmute and
we are saying to you that once they have flu-like symptoms, please keep them at home. Please keep them at home. Right, today, 1,128 new cases. I think that's the highest number that we have had since the onset of this pandemic. So you know that this is serious time. So please, they need to wear the mask on the bus, in the taxis. Not only when they come to the school gate, they put it on. All right, so that is it from me, and I wish that we all have a successful term. We do not know when the government is going to come out and say, no, it's too high, let us school them. We don't know. We don't know if that is going to happen. But let us hope and pray that this COVID thing goes away and we can resume normal operations. God bless you all, and we thank you very much for being here. Over to you, Mrs. Wilson, to close.
well, that's it, sir. That's it. Thank you, parents, guardians. Thank you for your time and God's richest blessings. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Yeah, wait a minute. So Miranda, my hand was still raised, but is that the end?
Yeah, it's okay.
Wait a minute. But I was trying to see if there was something else that's going to come up.
Let me see. My phone button.
Just say thank you on it. I know you ain't talking to me. Here. Here. Here, Miranda.